few months back, I talked about 2000's rock one-hit wonders, and according to the comments on that video, there were many more to talk about. So this video takes a look at 10 more one-hit wonders in 2000's rock. If you want to see which 10 one-hit wonders I talked about last time, you can check out that video with the link in the video description and info card. As a heads up, this is not a top 10, just a list, no ranking. Also, since I can't play long song clips due to YouTube copyright bots, you can find a link to each song discussed in the video description below. Only real criteria is the song has to be rock, alternative, metal, etc., and the song either has to have some type of charting or sales success of note. That's it. You know how one-hit wonders work. You know how these lists work. Let's get to it. At the start of the decade came a story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world, and I swear everyone remembers that line. That lyric is still stuck in my head over 20 years later of how big a single this was for the New York group 9 Days. Absolutely, Story of a Girl was the big one-hit wonder that caught mainstream and even MTV and VH1 airplay that got their names attention, even if just for one hit. In a positive light, regarding being known as one-hit wonders, singer John Hampson had a refreshing take on it at the time when the song became big. In an interview with MTV, he said, "If it all ends next week, at least I'll be able to get my truck fixed up or get a new one. But if nothing, at least we accomplished this." That's honestly a nice way to look at it without getting a big head at the time. 9 Days may not have had another big hit, but this single off the band's debut album, The Maddening Crowd, made it big, hitting #1 on Billboard's mainstream top 40, along with many other charts around the world, and leading the album to be certified gold in the United States. I'm pretty sure that should help you get your truck fixed. This was that big summer hit of the year 2000 that everyone remembers that hook from, and it stayed with us like random information we learned from grade school but could never really apply in real life. It's a simple song with not much lyrical prowess behind it, but a ton of energy. It's a fun track, and coming after the late 90s of more upbeat alternative, this was a good way to lean into the 2000s. Remember when alternative music was a fun jam-along style with a keyboard and riffs and a nice chorus and not homogenized beep boops like the alternative music of 2021? Yeah, good times. Of the pop-punk one-hit wonders in the early 2000s, SR-71 stands out as known for being only one track that had a long shelf life due to consistent commercial use. Right now, Maryland-based and airplane-named SR-71 was one of the big hits for youth in TRL days without really landing much attention on TRL, oddly enough. As far as pop-punk hits that weren't by Blink-182, Green Day, Sum 41, etc., SR-71 didn't have bad charting success, ranking on several of Billboard's lists. The song is the typical trope of nonsense lyrics to a polished, bright pop rock track, but it was harmless for what it was, and the riff in the opening is still remembered. SR-71 may not have had a ton of success after this hit, but singer Mitch Allen sure did. He gave the rights to the hit song 1985 to Bowling for Soup, and then became a writer and producer for many pop artists including Faith Hill, Miley Cyrus, and Demi Lovato, along with rock groups like Anne Boleyn and Daughtry. A dumb young love song about trying to break up but settling by saying, "You'll do right now." Not a lyrical masterpiece, but this is true nostalgia with how much this was played in movie soundtracks and commercials, along with airplay for months. Not bad for some guys from Baltimore, proving that, something successful can come from Baltimore. I honestly don't know of much else. Right Now was the perfect bridge between Tony Hawk's soundtrack music and top 40 pop, leading to a long behind-the-scenes career for Mitch Allen. That'll definitely do right then and right now. Time for the ladies to get a little attention. One band I remember getting a lot of radio play and then breaking through in commercial forms and soundtracks are California's The Donnas. Off the group's 5th studio album Spend the Night back in 2002, The Donnas got their big break with a fun song in Take It Off, which really became the banner anthem for the group. Along with Take It Off charting well on the Billboard rock tracks, the album also charted well on Billboard's top 200 albums. I can't stress enough that the shelf life was long for the Donnas' hit song because of how many movies the song was played in, like Dodgeball, The Hangover, and tons of video game soundtracks. The Donnas were a huge breath of fresh air on rock radio at the time, and not only was it a fun track, but it wasn't another anger-filled nu metal or post-grunge chugga-chugga that was becoming the massive staple of radio rock back then. Take It Off was lively and fun to sing along with and had good writing in the big hook.
I still have a fondness for this song almost 20 years later after hearing it in Guitar Hero and Downhill Domination on PS2. The Donnas haven't really had much activity since the early 2010s, which is unfortunate because the ladies showed passion and a sense of enjoyment in music that was not a huge sound at the time. They also proved hard work and persistence can pay off until you get your big hit.
I get what I want and I like what I see is a line that does not get enough credit, just like the Donnas didn't get enough credit. At the very least, they are remembered in and out of music by hearing the group shout, "Take it off." Jumping forward in the second half of the decade into the glorious and gloomy emo phase, many big bands made a career out of styling your hair and screaming about hating your hometown to your mom. One act that didn't make it past one big hit was Secondhand Serenade, led by creator and singer John Vesley. At only 3 minutes, Fall For You really gets across the idea of a song becoming popular because so much other music around it shared similar qualities, and to be honest, that was enough for Secondhand Serenade to get all the attention. Fall For You charted well on Billboard's Hot 100 and mainstream Top 40, along with the song being certified 2 times platinum. That is huge for the time period. Vesley and Secondhand Serenade would release 5 albums up to 2014 and definitely gained some notoriety in a time frame where there was a big emo boom, which is funny to think about because so many bands copied the style and got a little piece of limelight. Even a group like Secondhand Serenade.
Fall For You sounds like a secondhand hit. It just does not hold up to other songs in that subgenre from that era. The vocals are reminiscent of Tom DeLonge with a sinus infection. I don't know how else to describe it. Cheesy, repetitive lyrics about falling in love again in a young and romantic style, and the cliche, "I can't live without you," is there, and this is an emo hit song. Gross.
Emo became a lifestyle in the mid to late 2000s, and somehow Fall For You really moved a lot of people. Being honest, this guy's voice moved me to lower the volume. Continuing that emo, pop-punk alternative combination of style that defined many eyeliner-wearing groups in the mid-2000s, Florida's The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus shot into the spotlight on mainstream rock radio for almost a year with the song Face Down off the 2006 album Don't You Fake It. The band name might sound like a word jumble, but for a random group from Florida, they made it work. Face Down, just like Fall For You, is in tone another dime a dozen emo songs of the mid-2000s. The difference is that Red Jumpsuit Apparatus made something out of their one shot with Don't You Fake It, doing well on Billboard's Top 200 albums and being certified platinum. Red Jumpsuit Apparatus has a platinum-selling album. I don't hate the track even if the meaning and lyrics are a little bleh. To me, the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus screams Warped Tour side stage band number 94. But in a decade where Warped Tour was the best thing ever to a bunch of jaded teenagers, yeah, this is the exact spot a young band would want to be. The group is still listed as active with Ronnie Winter at the helm, with their latest album coming back in 2018.
Face Down is not the worst thing ever, and to be honest, it probably is one of the best things the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus put out. The band still was having constant shows in Florida 10 years after their heyday, when I was still living in Jacksonville just a couple years ago, so they definitely still have their local fan base of aging Floridian emos. I just realized that sounded a lot better in my head before I verbalized it.
The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus might have been a red flash in the pan, but that flash went platinum. Can't say the funny name didn't at least work a little. California, here we come, right back where we... Sometimes a big hit song will get you months of airplay, and sometimes it'll get you years of royalties. Phantom Planet got both in 2003 due to the idolization of the California lifestyle. Off the 2003 re-release sophomore album, Phantom Planet must have had no idea what they would be getting out of a song dedicated to driving down the highway, going to see a concert in California. The song, named after the state, repeated ad nauseum, charted extremely well in several countries, including the US alternative lists, and was certified gold in the United States and silver silver in the UK. The real success of the song, though, came from when Fox decided to adopt the track as the theme for their show, The OC. That, along with the movie soundtracks, would make sure Phantom Planet's One Song in the Sun would ride a long time. Think about it. How many other states can be sang that nicely?
Misery! No. Utah! Nah. Say what you want about repetition, but the way California is belted out in that banner anthem, and it being tied with the TV show, you're gonna have a hit. Even if I didn't think that would cross overseas, I would have been wrong predicting that, but Phantom Planet have been virtually inactive since 2012. No doubt, though, they are still living up those sweet royalty checks. Mississippi! No. West Virginia. Ooh.
Gold certified, internationally charted, and tied to a major television show for years. That's pretty big for an alternative band who are just singing about a destination. Rare that a one-hit wonder is spawned off of a cover song, but the Ataris made their name just that way. Their cover of The Boys of Summer off the band's fourth studio album, So Long Astoria, in 2003 was the track proving you can reinvent the wheel that someone else made and make it into your own device. The Boys of Summer, originally by Don Henley with Mike Campbell in 1984, was turned into a mid-2000s emo and pop-punk classic. Mike Campbell even said that he liked the version the Ataris made, turning it into their own. The cover was a big claim to fame, with the single being certified gold in the United States, as well as charting all over Billboard, leading the So Long Astoria album also to be certified gold. The Ataris had finally hit their big break at that point. Christopher Roe is the only remaining member since the band's heyday, and the Ataris haven't released a new album since 2007, outside of a few EPs over the years. Also, this happened at a live Atari show.
The Ataris had more to offer than the cover song in 2003, however I get why this is the song that made them stand out, along with that on-stage meltdown. It's been well over a decade since the Ataris really had a lot of material come out, but as of now, the name is still listed as active. Who knows if we'll go to see that cover song played live again, or any cover song by the Ataris, so long as no drummers die on stage.
Turning the 80s-tastic The Boys of Summer from the voice of the Eagles and placing it perfectly into the style of the mid-2000s was a stroke of genius in my opinion, and with perfect timing. I'm sure there are still some people out there whose love is strong for this cover. Shifting gears into a pop rock style, one name that kept getting suggested as a 2000s one-hit wonder was Metro Station, California-based group led by two men, Mason Musso and Trace Cyrus. They sound like pro wrestler names, but they aren't. Their big hit Shake It off the debut self-titled album was definitely a predecessor to Beat Boop Alternative. The track Shake It has been remixed to death over the years, but the original song is a simple electro, rock, pop, alt, whatever style that's easy to be sampled and twisted, so it makes sense, especially as Metro Station's big hit was certified double platinum and charted all over the world, including big on Billboard. Shake, 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 shake it. Honestly, that's the whole song. I'm still not convinced there are other lyrics. Also, look at these guys. They are trying so hard, and it's adorable. That Cyrus family sure has some weird genes. Miley, Billy Ray, and Trace. Can't argue with the hit-making success, though, even if only one of the previously mentioned names can do more than just one hit.
Shake, shake it. Didn't need much to get a 2-time platinum hit. Not much at all. Just some haircuts and that little jam for a few minutes. Again, I don't care if someone tells me there are other lyrics in the song. It doesn't matter. That phrase is all this track exists for. Metro Station has also broken up and reformed like 4 times, by the way. So who knows if they still exist to shake it.
Metro Station had a big hit that's still being sampled and played in commercial ads today. Not bad for emo, alt, pop, rock, beat, boop, whatever this is. This is where a lot of heavier music fans will try to interject about Drowning Pool only having one big hit, but looking back at the charts and single sales, it's obvious that Drowning Pool are defined by one song being Bodies. Off the band's debut album Sinner in 2001, rock radio and even MTV had to acknowledge the alt-metal hit that became a staple back then and a music meme for years. Bodies was huge that year. Not only did the hit chart well in the US and UK, but the single also went platinum, and the track was used commercially for years by WWE. Carson Daly loved the song, Drowning Pool got invited to Ozfest, everything was going great, until the untimely passing of singer Dave Williams, who died the following year on tour. The celebration of Bodies and their album Sinner was relatively short-lived. The remaining members of Drowning Pool have stayed together over the years, continuing on with different vocalists, and have been releasing albums all the way up to 2016.
Drowning Pool had more to offer on their debut album Sinner. Yes, the name of the band and album title is a bit edgy McEdgelord even for 2001, but there were decent songs, including a few tracks that also got minor rock radio play like Tear Away, and I don't love Bodies as it's not much outside of that one line, but I'm glad it exists, so that the Psychostick parody I Can Count to 4 could be made. That is fantastic.
Let the Bodies Hit the Floor is still sang around in a comical way by people who don't even care about music, let alone rock or metal. That just proves how powerful Drowning Pool made their big hit.
Before we get to our last entry, please hit the like button below if you've been enjoying this video so far. It helps a ton to get this video pushed to non-subscribers on YouTube. Thank you. Alright, the final entry may not have been an international mega hit or charted super high on Billboard, but I'm counting it because of what it is and how much I remember it.
Skater culture was enormous in the early 2000s. The Tony Hawk games amplified that, and a hip-hop rock crossover band capitalized on this enormously. Heaven Is A Halfpipe off the 2000 album Menace to Sobriety, yes, it's that type of not serious at all album, defied all odds for a bunch of slackers and made national radio in the US and UK. No joke, this song actually did really well in England as well as on rock radio at the end of 2000. Heaven Is A Halfpipe, and yes, the song is as dumb as it sounds, was certified gold in the UK and charted in the US, England, and other nations in Europe, and it's a song that samples a skateboard jumping off the ground. If I really broke down the lyrics of the song, I honestly think you'd say I was making it up. I can't stress enough that OPM overachieved to an insane level. If you hear their other songs, you know seriousness and working isn't really their thing. OPM is a SoCal band with a SoCal vibe that wanted to have fun, and in many ways, this whole album is built around one track about the joys of skateboarding. That's all it needed to be, too.
Heaven Is A Halfpipe talks about religious deities, the afterlife, and how heaven is being able to hang out with Jesus while skateboarding where the man can't stop you. That's the song, and I promise, as dumb as it all sounds, you end up singing along with the track before it's over. It has that effect on you. Man, if ever there was an unofficial theme for Skate Heaven on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, this is it.
Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't make a hit out of something simple and make a career out of it, because that's what OPM did. Have a ball in Skater Heaven, boys. And that was a look at 10 more one-hit wonders in 2000's rock. Know of another one-hit wonder? Leave a comment and let everyone know. Big thanks to my patrons and a special thanks to Brandon Barrettfeld, Chris Stoneman, McKenna White, and Dominic Noble. You can have a say in upcoming videos and see videos early by supporting Rocked on Patreon. Please click on the link in the video description for more info and supporting the channel. Please subscribe and ring the bell to get notified on upcoming videos. Join us for New Music Night on Twitch every Sunday. You can check out my concert photography on Instagram, and you can keep up to date with Rocked on Facebook and Twitter.